Hey YouTube, gentlemansnine. On my way home. So this vlog won't be that exciting. What is exciting though is that I now have 200 subscribers. The number 200 person is Jet Motard. I'll put a link in the description below, but he is my 200th. If you guys didn't know, I'm not actively hunting for people to subscribe to me and like my vids and make me tons of money and blah 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 blah. I really started my channel specifically just to do the PBC, and from there I met a bunch of new people, and the community that I belong to, it's actually pretty cool because I know that they're there for me. I'll certainly be there for them, whatever the case might be. So anyways, Jet Motard, check him out. So my vlog for today, I got a question. How much money do you really need to make in order to live? Let's see, how do I go about this? So, for example, I'm in IT, software development. We make applications that other people use, and in order to be in software development, there's always exceptions, but in general, you need to be around a larger city. So the larger the city, the more likely you'll have jobs for software development. So the smaller the city, the odds are that the town might not even have like any IT companies in it. So for example, the town I live in, I think it's around 10,000 people. There's not a single software development company in the boundaries of the town limits. And that's actually fairly common for a lot of smaller towns that live out in the country, and you have to drive a ways to get to it. I mean, in general, especially like in the Chicago area. So there are software jobs in the suburbs, but there's a lot of them in downtown Chicago. So really, in general, the bigger the city, the more jobs. Hey, dude. And what happens though is when you're living in a larger city, your cost of living is higher. Houses are more expensive, the land is more expensive, your property taxes are more expensive. You're keeping up with the Joneses, so your lifestyle is itself more expensive because you have to buy bigger cars or luxury vehicles or whatever. You have to have the best yard in your neighborhood, or I don't know. You make more money, but you also end up spending more money. So, is it not possible, like in my field, for example, to find a job? Let's say there actually is an IT company out in the sticks somewhere, in some city or whatever, that's 10,000 people, and instead of the property taxes being $10,000, they're like $2,000. The houses, instead of being $400,000, they're like $150,000. And of course, you're not going to be making anywhere near as much money as you would in like the Chicago area. My apologies, I'm facing to the sun. But technically, your expenses are so much less, you don't really need to make that much money. So is it really about how much money you make? Because I know a lot of people hold in their minds the status that, oh, I make so much money and that makes me awesome, and you only make like half of what I make. But you're not really taking into account like what that person needs to survive on. Now that other person's expenses might be like a third of what you have, because hey, I'm living in the big city and I got 3 boats and 5 cars and 18 recreational vehicles, and I have loans up the wazoo, and my house is only half paid for. Whereas like somebody out in the country might have, their house might be like whatever, $50,000. but the house is paid off. They might only have like 2 vehicles or 1 vehicle, but the thing is paid off. It might be older, but it's paid off. They might have recreational vehicles, right, but they might be paid off. Who's actually in a better situation? I guess for me it's almost like, maybe that person actually living out in the country where their cost of living is much lower. They're making a lot less money, but since things don't cost so much, they can actually get those things paid off. Now, yeah, I understand that the price of a car is the price of a car, but the price of a house, you can buy a house for, I'm just making up these numbers, $100,000 at whatever percent interest, or you can buy a house at $400,000 at that same interest rate. And just like with any house, the majority of your payment goes towards interest, but instead of 4% interest on $400,000, you're only paying 4% interest on the $100,000, which makes your payment way, way smaller. In fact, you might not even need like a 30-year loan. You might be able to do it in 15 years or 10 years or whatever. Anyways, just something to ponder. I always talk to a bunch of people, so obviously I live near a city. My town is not a city, but I live in the suburbs of Chicago. And it's always about, oh, you got to come over and check out my boat. I just bought a new boat. Or, oh, you got to check out my car. I just got a new Acura. Or I got a new Lexus. Or I got my BMW. You got to check this thing out. It's always about stuff. And when I grew up out in the country, out in the sticks, it wasn't about stuff. It was about, hey, man, you want to come out, hang over? We can sit there and chat. Make you some food. Check out my garden. Whatever else they do out in the country, I can't even seem to remember. It's been so long since I've been in the country. Anyways, that was the thoughts going through this crazy brain I got going here. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.